Nah, just joking. We're not in the poster. Come get some here with our Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor review. I just almost screwed up the first part, even in the picture. It's nice to see you guys here. This is our first boxing MMA review, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit different than the wrestling thing that we're doing, but this was such a big event that we have to cover it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all our fans,
pop culture,
all of our fans want to see this. all of our fans are clamoring.
Jimmy,
for
this is for you.
Yes, thank you for watching, Jimmy. So first of all, this was billed as, it's probably, to me, besides the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, probably the most anticipated fight.
Who is this Pacquiao?
Pacquiao? Pikachu?
He fought Pikachu.
Wait a minute.
Floyd Mayweather, did he defeat Pikachu?
I don't know. I think he evolved.
Okay.
Which that fight did not deliver at all. I've seen better fights on playgrounds, so this was a very highly anticipated fight simply because of the draw of the fact that this is an MMA fighter who is very successful in MMA. It's not just Mickey Gall or CM Punk, boxing. It's his, CM Punk would be a big draw. No, yeah, right, exactly. But this is somebody who's a champion, one of the biggest, if not the biggest star in the sport.
Personality.
Right. He's a WWE personality in a real fighting scenario.
The King of Ireland right now.
Yes, he's kicking arse. He's a fucking legend. Fucking. Which is, I don't think that's a curse, right? I don't think, F-O-O-K, Fook.
Yeah, I think you get away with that.
I think we can get away with Fukin.
Who the Fook?
Fukin! Anyway, got lost in the Fook there. Well, there goes his tooth. He just lost a tooth.
Oh, I got beat up.
He didn't even get punched, he lost his tooth. Jesus.
I got hit so hard.
Either way, this fight was very anticipated. All the hype with the press conferences and the stupid things being said, and lots of hoopla. Both of these guys clearly were making a lifetime's worth of money in a few hours. Not even a few hours. Most people thinking that this was obviously a fight that Mayweather couldn't lose because he's a boxing professional. Even though McGregor can hold his own, throw some fists, he's not a professional boxer per se. And boxing and MMA are not exactly the same.
There's boxing and MMA, but
it's an aspect of.
I think he was an amateur boxer. He had some amateur fights back in the day. But
I'm sure that he had some boxing training and all that stuff. However,
kangaroos.
Yeah, listen. He saw Rocky.
I watched tapes on kangaroos. I will defeat him.
I watched Rocky. Of course, I'm a good fighter.
That's right.
But when you're stepping into the ring again, now he is what he is in MMA. Floyd Mayweather is the same in boxing. Yeah. Not the biggest knockout artist you'll ever see, or known for his power, but obviously technically one of the best fighters in the history. Undefeated,
yes,
at 49-0, champion all over the place. Big mouth, a lot of money, very flashy, but backs it up in the ring, except for the Pacquiao fight, which was not really a good fight at all. But what were your expectations for this fight coming into it beforehand? All the hoopla, all that stuff. As far as the actual fight, what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to see Conor knock him out. Even if it was like 2 seconds long, it would have been great to see something like that. Because I'm an MMA fan before. I mean, I like boxing. I grew up liking boxing, but right now I'm just way more MMA and WWE.
Of course, can't forget our bread and butter. Me, I'm kind of thinking about it, and like that could ruin boxing if they're one of their biggest guys of all time loses to somebody who's not technically a boxer. It could have been a very, very strange scenario there that next day. Plus, I think if Conor McGregor won, I think every bookie in Las Vegas would have had to run and leave town. People would have won mega bucks on that. The odds against McGregor were staggering, but nonetheless, we came to Saturday night, or Sunday morning, if you will. They really should have dated it for Sunday.
Yeah.
You knew that the fight wouldn't go on until super late. They never do anyway. Couple of rounds, I was at a party and they had the fight on in the background. Really didn't watch a whole lot of the fights beforehand. It was kind of just there because the Jets-Giant game was uber competitive.
Is that football?
Baseball. And rugby, actually.
Rugby. I knew
Highlight.
Cricket.
Women's lacrosse.
Curling.
That's cool. So the fight finally comes on. We got Demi Lovato sings the national anthem.
Pretty well, too.
Very well. Cute girl. She does her thing. These guys come out. The crowd is clearly
Conor.
Pro Conor for sure. They hate Mayweather. A lot of Irish guys in the stands as well, rooting for their national hero.
And Mayweather comes out looking like with the
looked more like a pro wrestler or a thief.
The luchador.
Something. It was just listen. I don't know. Clearly, he had a strategy though. We start the fight. The bell rings, and to me, the first couple rounds, I wouldn't say dominated, but clearly they were going in McGregor's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he landed an uppercut. I can't remember. It was the second round.
Early on, yeah.
Early on, that looked pretty sizable. And he
even with the jabs, the only thing I kept saying was, McGregor's actually probably got this right now, but he's got to stop hitting him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
The referee kept stopping it for that. Every time he kind of wrap him, and even if he had him wrap from behind, he's like,
it's that MMA.
Donkey punching him in the back of the head.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I'm glad that points weren't taken from him, but I thought for sure that the ref was going to take points at some point.
And even during this, I'm standing there with my buddy going, Floyd's not doing a thing. Like McGregor's, having his way with him. The one thing about Conor, he didn't look like he was really had great defense. I mean, his hands were down a lot, and I know he's a very lackadaisical kind of fighter anyway. He kind of just, he's not the quickest.
Loose.
Yeah, he's very loose and he's
unorthodox.
So, it's hard to tell when he was getting fatigued until the later rounds. But I really thought he had a good hold in the first third of the fight for sure. And the fourth round was kind of the first time you really saw some. Anything from Floyd,
offense,
and a lot of times Floyd was backed up against the ropes, but never at any point did Floyd look worried. Did he look fatigued? Did he look, like he was in any danger? No. Even after getting hit a few times, he kind of took it well. And Conor got hit a few good times too. There was an early shot that Floyd gave him, and they showed a replay in slow motion on it. It was pretty good.
It was
shot,
like a straight right or something. Like that?
Yeah, and he hit him. He hit him pretty flush. But McGregor was getting these little jabs in, with his left hand, and he kept getting them in there, and so it really didn't start to become evident until a little bit later. But I kept saying to my buddy too, there's got to be a reason here. Maybe he's just letting McGregor. Use all his energy, and he knows that this is a 12-round fight. He's not worried about what everybody else is saying. He wants to win the fight. And basically, if he wore down McGregor, then he would have his shots. And that's pretty much what ended up happening. And as the fight went on, you could see Mayweather becoming a little bit more aggressive, throwing his weight around a little. Well, not his weight, but throwing a lot more punches and hitting that speed that he's known for. And eventually, there was one round. I think it was the round before the end of the fight. Where going into that round, I kept saying to my buddy, I'm like, he needs the bell needs to ring if McGregor wants to stay in this fight. Because there it is. There's the bell. I didn't hear no bell. The bell just totally wiped my mind clear of any rational thought I had.
Let me reset it.
What
do you call it?
I can if you want. So McGregor clearly was almost out on his feet at that point. He was just taking shots, and the bell rang at the right time, and he really needed that break. And you could see at that point Mayweather had him, and they come back into the fight, and Mayweather is landing shot after shot, and one, McGregor's not blocking him, and B, he's not throwing anything at him. And at that point, the referee was forced to stop the fight, which I don't disagree with. I don't know about you.
I understand why they stopped it, but from an MMA point of view, because that's where I'm coming from, they seem to take more damage before things are stopped. I mean, he was still standing. I mean, yes, he didn't throw anything back. I think that's on that part of it, I can see why they stopped it, because he really wasn't throwing back.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, the guys are really trying to be safe, not get these guys killed. I mean, there's plenty of times where, even if the guy's not seriously injured, it can do some damage if you're taking some punches without showing any kind of defense.
I've been hurt very badly by
especially from a guy who's, 49-0.
Yeah.
So I think the referee made the right decision, and at that point, I really think that if he had let it go, Conor would have ended up being knocked out before the end of that round. I firmly believe that.
Probably.
Listen, the guy's a tough dude, and the one thing that you could say is that the guy after the fight, they went over and they hugged each other, which I knew they'd do. It's all showmanship. But Conor, even after defeat, was kind of still just like, hey man, what was the word he kept using?
Composed. Yeah,
he's super composed. He's composed. The man is composed.
He doesn't have that much power.
He doesn't have that much power or speed, but he's composed. Like, so he's like still cutting him down, and it's like it's in almost in essence, it's like, hey man, look, I'm not a boxer, and I took a shot, and I made it to the whatever round it was, 9th round, 10th round, whatever it was. I made it pretty far against a guy who's a legend in this sport. I can hold my own, and I didn't embarrass myself. I didn't get knocked out. I didn't get injured. The guy was catching me, and whatever. He was composed. I was fatigued, and listen, the guy owned up to it, which is great. I'm not a huge fan of the guys. I mean, I respect the guy for sure, but I'm not a Mayweather fan really either. So
he's my daughter's godfather.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you then. I just think that the fight delivered way more than the Pacquiao fight did. I mean, it was entertaining, to say the least about it. So, is it worth $100 for the pay-per-view event? Probably not. But it didn't disappoint. You didn't walk away going, that was the worst thing I ever saw. I mean, listen, it was competitive. You also have to realize this was not going to be the most technically sound boxing match you were ever going to see either.
At least Conor didn't flail at him.
Yeah, listen, he didn't look bad, and like I said, the guy made a huge payday. He didn't embarrass. He didn't get knocked out in the first round, second round.
$100 million. Let's talk about it. $100 million.
Oh.
I'll never even see $100,000.
Yeah, listen, these guys are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to do this, and obviously, there's plenty of people in the world like myself who struggle on a day-to-day basis. For everything. So it's it's kind of disheartening.
There's going to be a phone number at the bottom of it where you can send help.
But then again, I'm not a super athlete that people are paying lots of money to watch either. So,
True.
But kudos. Listen, they put on a good show. Either way, I didn't walk out of it going, "Oh, this fight was fixed." Either they were definitely going at it, and they were. You could tell there was obviously animosity the whole time. But, you never really knew how much of it was real, how much of it was put on, just for show. But either way, the guys gave us a good show, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I think he definitely didn't embarrass himself.
Nope.
And it was fun to watch. I felt the same way. When after the fight, I wasn't like, oh, that was crap.
Right.
I had a good time watching it. And he made, like, so much money. And it was funny at the post parties or whatever, he's plugging his whiskey, Notorious whiskey, and it's like, oh, that's some good stuff.
Imagine that you made $100 million, you didn't get knocked out, and you go to the post party, and nobody's looking at you like what a loser because you just lost you made a guy 50-0, but this guy was expected to win, and you didn't embarrass yourself. That's a win-win, man.
Oh my God.
Drink all the whiskey you want, my friend.
I like my own whiskey, or a whiskey right now. I don't know.
Get this man a Treehouse beer. Yes, for sure. And afterwards, they asked him, "Would you go into boxing?" And he's like, "I don't know if whatever." But he did say he would be back in MMA for sure, which is obviously his first love. And listen, the guy now may be able to go back to MMA and be like, "You better pay me a little bit more money than you're paying me, Dana, because what? Look what I just drew with Mayweather." And he did become more of a crossover star. Yeah. Some people who wouldn't normally watch MMA might have been interested in this fight because of it, and now know who he is. And he's a spectacle. He's an all-around spectacle. Has he lost before? Yeah. People are going to love him, and people are going to hate him. But either way, people are going to pay to either see him kick somebody's ass or to get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So either way, it was a win-win for him, and he ended up, I think, making out better than almost anybody, other than Mayweather, who obviously won the fight and
$300 million maybe.
But he didn't. Like I said, he made all that money and he didn't lose anything in losing. It's almost like WWE when somebody gets pinned clean. Did he lose something in losing? No. Mayweather definitely had a great night, but still booed and hated by everybody. And McGregor looks like a hero, so. That it is what it is.
Well, I would have liked to see Mayweather put on the mask in the corner and just
come out. Just fought with the mask.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just fight with it.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So does Mayweather step in the MMA octagon?
God, no. He wouldn't last.
He wouldn't last. He wouldn't last 2 rounds for sure.
Not even 1 round.
I don't know. His speed may make him elusive for 1 round, and there could be some stalling and some takedown. Yeah. But yeah, in a where punches aren't the only things you can throw. I'm going with McGregor on that one for sure.
He'd feel 1 shin kick and he'd be like down.
But I'm actually, listen, if Floyd Mayweather wants to come out of retirement again
and beat us up,
and listen, I'll take $100. Not no, listen, for like 10 grand, I'll take a shot right to the face. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who would pay to see that. I'll take a shot right to the face, and I'll use some of it for medical bills, and the rest of it I'll put in the bank and be happy.
Oh yeah.
You know, but
I don't know. Maybe Mayweather come back and fight Pikachu again, and it could be
that could happen. Yeah, I mean,
Could.
since it's happened before, you know, we'll see, and we'll see if Mayweather hangs it up for good this time, or if he comes back, you know, maybe to fight, you know, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a wrestling match or so. He's already fought Big Show in a wrestling match, and now he's fought an MMA guy, so he's kind of run the gamut here.
I forgot that he fought Big Show.
Yeah, well, you know, he didn't fight him, but he did break his nose, you know, in a shot. There's a good video when Big Show came back and when they kind of set the wheels in motion for that whole feud. I believe it was like at the Royal Rumble, and they called Mayweather in the ring, and Big Show got down on his knees. He's like, "Come on!" He puts his hand behind his neck, and you know, he told Mayweather to hit him, but Mayweather came straight across, and the only thing that he hit was his nose, and his nose just went and was bleeding everywhere. And Big Show he was so mad he got up and literally chased him. And Mayweather, like, he almost caught him too. and Big Show's a little bit bigger than Mayweather.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. So, but we're going to leave you with that. We want to thank you for watching. Come Get Some. Obviously, you can follow us here. YouTube, Come Get Some. Facebook, Rips Wrestling Roundup, RIPPS Wrestling Roundup. Get all this information on wrestling news, all the up-to-minute stuff. We also have some other things coming. Look for our Lost Boys special and lots more stuff to come. So, Professor Chewie, Dr. Rips, this has been Come Get Some, the McGregor Mayweather edition. We'll see you soon.